Also, if anything, do you know how depressing it is that I can't watch Kyle? I love watching Kyle in the pre-show, and I can't watch it. Do you know how badly I want to ignore it and be like, no, it's okay that Kyle did that. Like, we're just going to keep watching his videos because I like watching them. Do you know how much you do? I don't want to do this. Oh, dude. See, this is the shit that I'm talking about, man. Sorry, this is a totally separate point for a brief moment. But, like, straight up, this is, I don't feel like I don't feel like the progressive movement is asking for so much to see some regret and to see some apologies from people who endorsed Graham Plattner.
Under a microscope.
And you guys know I am the biggest Khanna supporter, okay? If Khanna has 1 million supporters, I am one of them. If he has 100 supporters, I am one of them. If he has 1 supporter, it is me. If he has none supporters, I am gone. I am Lindsey Graham, okay?
Your endorsement of Senate candidate Graham Plattner in Maine. He has since dropped out amid a swirl of controversies. Congressman, you stood by him through a series of previous controversies, from a tattoo resembling a Nazi symbol to his online posts blaming survivors of sexual assault, even after the New York Times published allegations from ex-girlfriends describing a pattern of emotional abuse, aggressive behavior, which he denies.
Sorry, to the people saying Khanna kind of sus, like, first of all, can we discuss things comparatively for just a brief moment? Second, bro was literally detained by armed Israeli settlers like 2 days ago. Hello? In terms of being solid, this should be like the bare, like this is like, do you understand? Not bare minimum, but like this is like what I expect out of my candidates. Bro might be on a Hassan's stream today. I actually don't know. Comeback politician of the year, APAC free, holding no punches. Yeah, I don't like any of these motherfuckers. Guys, I don't know how to explain this to you guys. This is not a doomer chat. Okay? I don't allow doomerism in my chat. You guys want to know why? Because doomerism is a mentality for losers, and I don't allow losers in here. Okay? If you've already given up and you're like, I don't like anyone, no one will ever. Okay, take 2 weeks, and if you have decided to not change your mind, maybe this stream is not for you. I engage in hopium, okay? I deal in hopium. I am your local hopium dealer. All right? I'm sorry. Not every politician is going to be perfect and perfect. Not even Mamdani has acted perfectly. I feel like he should have been able to get more concessions out of Kathy Hochul than he ended up getting. But not every politician is going to be perfect. It's about how many things they can deliver on and whether or not the most important things are delivered on. Got to pick lesser evil? No, absolutely not. No, I'm saying if a politician, if you have like 5 important values, like anti-genocide as one of the 5, and they match those most important ones, it's not about lesser of 2 evils. It's about this person actually almost perfectly resembles my politics or almost perfectly replicates my politics, other than like 1 or 2 things. So of course I'm going to support them. It's not like what? It's not about lesser of 2 evils here. Because I think lesser of 2 evils is how we got the party that we ended up with in the first place, the Democratic Party that we got in the first place. I watched Hassan's interview with Khanna at the DNC again the other night, and it's crazy to see how far he's come from what he thought before. Well, it's because he actually is willing, and here's the thing, right? I want more politicians that are willing to talk to voters, that are willing to talk to political commentators, that are willing to adjust and see, okay, this is not what voters want anymore. I understand. I will change. Because that's what public servants are there for. They're there to serve you, to listen, and then to adjust their behavior to give you what you want. You shouldn't be voting for a politician because they're perfect. You should be voting for the politician that will do what you ask them to do. That should be the purpose of politics. That is the only purpose of politics. And if a politician won't do what you want them to do, this is why the lesser of 2 evil things is so fucking stupid, because it's like, if they don't do what you want them to do, who cares that it's the lesser of 2 evils? We want responsive politicians. And genuinely, Khanna has shifted his opinions on a lot of things, and he does what people want him to do. He doesn't just like compromise with Republicans, Cory Booker style, and just say, I just miss Lindsey Graham so much. And, he was always pulling me in. And, he was just great. And he was always willing to negotiate. And by negotiate, I mean, I would give him everything he wanted. And he would make no concessions, Like, I'm done. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. So if you're like, I don't like any politicians. Okay, grow up, dude. Then go watch fucking Love Island, dude. If you're not going to engage in a meaningful way, go.
We should say, why weren't those past controversies a breaking point for you?
For me, the line always was sexual assault or sexual violence. And as soon as that came out, I was the first person to withdraw my endorsement. But I will say I got that call wrong. And if there's some self-reflection, it is that we all need to see the signs earlier of people who may engage in domestic violence. Look, I wasn't the only one. You had Planned Parenthood, you had Senator Warren, you had the entire Democratic Party. But I did get that call wrong. I think what is important, though, is to understand his politics. He was opposed to foreign wars. He was opposed for Medicare for all.
He said he was opposed to them, and his actions said something different.
And why the progressive movement more broadly, why these issues are resonating.
Do you regret endorsing him?
Yes.
You flat out regret
I
endorsing him.
got that call wrong. I endorse a lot of people, but when I make a mistake, I take accountability. And I think what people want is the humility to take accountability if you make a call that's wrong.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories.
Let me say a couple things. Thank you for calling out lesser of two evils. Go tell Kyle Kulinski that first. Yeah, no kidding, dude. I'm still upset about Kyle Kulinski. Ro Khanna literally said he wants Israel to stay as a Jewish state, so he's not the best, but critical support. I mean, again, I feel like Ro Khanna has shown that he has had a desire to listen to progressives. More important than that as well, this is my personal opinion, he's not beholden to AIPAC, okay? He is not beholden to AIPAC. So I think, and you have to understand, think about what Mamdani said. Mamdani said, what did Kyle do? Just the Graham Plattner stuff. He's not doubling down, but I wish he had a more emphatic message for people saying like, sorry, I let you guys down and stuff and I need to do better. But it was just like, yeah, okay, he dropped out. Okay, that's sad or whatever. It's like, oh, come on, man. Like, how do I know you're not just going to make this mistake again? Right? I want to see something that signals that you're going to try to not make that mistake again. Does that make sense? What was I trying to say? It's good when they shift positions towards a good one, but I think a lot of people are skeptical of politicians simply paying lip service for both. But yeah, it's all about action. Well, think about the message that Mamdani had about, first of all, Bibi Netanyahu showing up in New York City and saying, we'd arrest him. And when asked the question, like, where's the first country you would go to? Everyone's like, Israel, Israel, Israel. And he's like, nowhere. I'm going to stay in New York because I love New York and I'm the mayor of New York, huh? And then everyone's like, can I change my answer to that one? I liked his answer more. I want to change it, please. Can I change that one? Or the fact that when he was asked, like, do you believe that Israel has a right to exist? The fact that Mamdani, the first politician I've seen, by the way, to give such a great fucking answer, to give like incredible answer. Oh, I believe that Israel has a right to exist as a state with equal rights for all of its people, that treats all of its people with equal rights. So like that is mwah, mwah, chef's kiss. And I think, and even despite him giving such a mild answer and then the mobilize empanadas, the fact that he gave such a mild answer on that too, and then they all called him anti-Semitic, like every single establishment Democrat called him anti-Semitic and said, we need to address, who was it? Oh, this like, I'm pretty sure it's like this white woman. Oh, what was her name? I think she's a representative. Oh, I'm like blanking on her name. She went in so hard. Gillibrand. Yes. She was like, honestly, it disgusts me that someone so anti-Semitic would be so like, he must hate Jewish people. It's like, what the fuck? She's a senator, excuse me. I was like, what the fuck? So even though he didn't even say anything wrong, even though Mamdani didn't even say anything wrong, a bunch of establishment Dems started calling him anti-Semitic and a jihadist. So I understand Ro Khanna being hesitant because it doesn't feel like enough time has passed to meet the voters where they're at on Israel. But I think Ro Khanna would be down to change his perspective towards the Mamdani position. And again, I don't want politicians that are, honestly, I don't even care what a politician genuinely thinks. I just want them to do what I elected them to do. That's it. That's what I want. You can have whatever personal life that you have. And this is why when people were pretty reasonably, I would say, upset about the Gavin Newsom. Do you guys remember Gavin Newsom had like a party during COVID and there were no masks anywhere or whatever? I genuinely, my opinion was like, I kind of don't really care about that because I care more about whether or not the politician is outwardly saying that they care and enacting policies that benefit the people that live in that state. That's what I care more about. That's so much more important. Now, you shouldn't be a fucking hypocrite, ideally. But that's what actually matters. What actually matters is, are you pushing for policy that matters? Now, of course, Gavin Newsom is a shit show of a politician for other reasons, but how is Khanna's position on Plattner different from Kyle? Well, yeah, because he said that he like regrets the endorsement, and he said like, you know, we need to be better at recognizing this stuff and seeing the signs, and it's not okay that like I wasn't the only person that endorsed him. Like, we should be better about that. Like, I think that's good. Is that not good? Isn't that what we should expect from our politicians? Delivery of message and intent? Yeah. But, okay. Let me see. Like, where is his most recent video on Plattner? We're talking about Plattner dropping out. I'm, like, struggling to even find it. Hold up. Oh, here it is. Breaking Graham Plattner accused of grape. It's like...
All right, y'all, got some major breaking news here that dropped earlier today. So Politico is reporting that Graham Plattner was accused of sexual assault. But if you actually read the article, the headline says sexual assault. If you actually read the article, it's very clear that the allegation is not sexual assault, it's grape. Okay? There's a few things about this that are extra concerning. The previous allegations were easy to dismiss because it was a literal Heritage Foundation Republican insider who was...
Like, do you... what...
making the allegations. Also, the allegations were effectively, he's a bad boyfriend. This is not that. This is a much more extreme allegation.
I mean, again, this is literally participating in rape culture, which is, how do we trust this person? They're on the other side of the aisle or whatever. It's like, dude, if the person who he had assaulted was a Republican, we should still listen, no?
Number one. Point number two is...
Or like, because in the case that she described that he was physically assaulting her.
She does have some corroborating evidence, and it's also, if we're being serious here, a Democrat who's making the allegation. In fact, she was hesitant to come forward because she says, I agree with Graham's politics, and I was caught between, like, what do I do here? Do I come forward? Do I stay quiet because I agree with his politics? And Graham dropped an emergency video earlier today. Take a look at that.
To directly address the troubling, serious, and false allegations against me. Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false. Over the last 10 months, I have been deeply humbled by the faith Mainers have put in me. You have welcomed me into your homes, into your places of work, into your restaurants, into your houses of worship. You have shown that a different kind of politics, one that puts the interests of people over corporations, is not just possible, but is inevitable. This movement we have built, the largest volunteer base in the history of Maine politics, the hundreds of thousands of grassroots donors, and the supporters across the ideological spectrum.
Dude, I don't want to hear this fucking piece of shit speak. I'm sorry. I'm not listening to this. I'm not.
And sees
specifically, I'm not interested in listening to Graham Plattner
Susan
speak.
Collins defeated. And we will use every tool at our disposal to do so. As Maine goes, so goes the nation. As always.
So needless to say, very serious allegations, and there's evidence this time as well that there wasn't previously. And I honestly think he's going to drop out. I think he's almost certainly going to drop out. He's going to throw his weight behind whoever takes his place. There's some conversations about who that'll be, which...
Do you guys know when, like, Kyle does not shy away from being, like, extreme in his language? When he talks about, like, Trump, he's like, he needs to be impeached. We should be demanding that this guy get fucking impeached. But he's talking about Graham Plattner, and he's like, I think he'll drop out. It's like, dude, where's the Kyle that I actually like? What the hell? That would say he needs to drop out immediately. Like, anyone who is still fucking holding water for him is a fucking idiot. Like, you need to... It's like, what is the... You're not... I don't watch Kyle because I want someone that's lukewarm. What the hell?
I'll get to in a second. But let me also just say real quick, if you're a Republican, I am not remotely interested in your Plattner take. Because you have nominated a guy 3 times who was accused of much worse and much more than Graham Plattner. I simply don't want to hear it. There's a literal Wikipedia page dedicated to all of the allegations made against Donald J. Trump. There's nearly 30 different sexual assault, sexual harassment, and grape allegations made against Donald J. Trump. Every Republican knows that. No Republican fucking cares. Okay? So I'm just simply not interested in you pretending like you have a fucking conscience now and you're moral now when you're not remotely any of those things. So all of you go to Shut the Fuck Upsville, sincerely from the bottom of my heart. This is an internal issue between liberals and leftists and Democrats. Okay? You can go sit in the fucking corner and be the peanut gallery and wear the fucking dunce hat for all I care. So all you can shut the fuck up. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is, if you are Neera Tanden, shut the fuck up. She's going after Plattner now as well. You worked for Bill Clinton. You worked for fucking Bill Clinton, okay? This guy was accused of rape and all sorts of issues way more than Graham has been. Let's be serious about that. I'm not trying to downplay what Graham is being accused of here, but let's be serious. You don't get to pretend like you have a conscience and pretend like you have morality now in this moment. You simply don't, okay? It's convenient when you decide to trot it out. And then finally, I'll point out, listen, man, everybody's now abandoning Graham, and that's going to be effectively the death blow to the campaign. Khanna took back his endorsement. Ruben Gallego took back his endorsement. I'm seeing everybody take back their endorsement. Apparently, Plattner's own staffers are now talking about replacing him. And so there is a legal mechanism at this point for him to drop out, for him to be replaced. And right now it's looking like Troy Jackson might take his place. And Troy Jackson is a former candidate for governor in Maine. He's the most progressive of the potential choices. Bernie backed his gubernatorial run. He's from like the same wing of the party. And like I said, I do think ultimately Graham is going to step aside and basically pass the torch to this guy, realizing that this is going to absolutely jeopardize the chance that he's able to defeat Susan Collins. There was a poll that came out, like a week or so ago that had the race basically tied. And there's some polls out today that have Troy Jackson beating Susan Collins. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but my guess is he's going to drop out. My guess is it's going to be somebody else who's, either DSA or DSA aligned, and this will all be a moot point anyway. But needless to say, it's a horrible story. There are horrible facts in there. You can go read the whole thing over at Politico if you want to see it. And that'll do it, man. As many others are saying, I think Hassan came out and said this too, stick a fork in him, he's done. Final thing is, we'll know the country is in a better place when people react with the same sort of moral outrage and condemnation to arming and funding genocide as they're reacting to this. It honestly drives me crazy that the majority of our elected officials in Washington, D.C., the majority of congresspeople and senators have voted to arm and fund genocide repeatedly, and it barely gets mentioned. Barely gets mentioned. Nobody's demanding somebody immediately drop out, rescinding endorsements, saying they need to be replaced, having hair on fire.
Okay, do you guys see what I mean when I say that people being like, well, what's the difference between this and what Khanna said? It's like, I don't know everything.
Reactions, it's just standard operating procedure. And that's how you know that our politics are currently in hell. Again, I'm not trying to downplay what happened with Graham here and the allegations. The allegations are serious and there's evidence, and they're certainly way more credible than the previous ones. But I just wish that we can get our politics to a place where you also see this kind of a reaction when it comes to genocide. And I think we all need to ask ourselves why that's not already the case.
Also, I just want to say, like, really quickly to the chatters who said this, saying, but the allegations were not substantial as well, question mark. Did you read them? Remember, when the allegations had come out about Graham Plattner, that was after it was exposed that Graham Plattner had this Reddit account where he said all this insane shit about how much he loves going to war and he loves combat and he wished he could keep going to combat, after it was exposed that he had worked for Blackwater for 6 months in 2018. After he was shown to be writing this, quote, holy fuck, how about people just take some responsibility for themselves and not get so fucked up when they wind up having sex with someone they don't mean to. Men and women, you make a choice to consume enough of a substance to lose your self-control. So if you don't want to be in a compromising situation, act like an adult for fuck's sake. Rape is a real thing. If you're so worried about it to buy Kevlar underwear, you'd think you might not get blacked out, fucked up around people you aren't comfortable with. This is Graham Plattner's Reddit account that was resurfaced. And this is what he was writing in 2019. Okay, and the woman who came out against him, what she said was, Fifield alleged that Plattner frequently grabbed her by the shoulders and once yanked her out of a taxi by her wrist. During one argument, she recalled he twisted her arm behind her back, shoved her into a bedroom, and held the door closed from the other side so she couldn't get out, and telling her to remain there until she was calm. And also said that he would sharpen an axe while watching TV and left an AR-15 lying around in his apartment in Washington. She said he described women as hatchet wounds, a crude reference to female anatomy, and repeatedly asserted, if anyone ever broke in here, I would rape them, adding that this would not be in a sexual way, not in a gay way. Fifield told the paper he was like, I would rape them to show I'm dominant. Like, at some point, you have to be actively ignoring the red flags. Like, you have to be actively ignoring and being like, well, those Reddit comments were from 2019. That's so long ago. Haha. And really, who hasn't who hasn't twisted their partner's arm behind their back, shoved them into a bedroom, and held it closed from the other side so they couldn't get out? Who hasn't done that? Who amongst, it's like, I think at some point you have to be actively ignoring some stuff to be like, especially to say so blatantly, like this is all bullshit. This is all just like a smear campaign. It's like, I don't know, man. What if it wasn't a smear campaign and it was someone saying something that happened? Like, maybe we shouldn't describe any time someone comes out about something as a smear campaign. That's my problem. That's it. That's the only thing. That's the only problem that I have, which is we shouldn't participate in a rape culture that makes people feel like they can put their name. They're not even reporting this stuff anonymously. Their whole name is behind it. And it's like, yeah, but this has to be a smear campaign. It's like, what? And I understand the people that are like responding and saying like, I just don't think that meets the bar for like, we can't have Plattner in Maine anymore. I believe her, but I just don't think that like that fundamentally changes my perspective on Plattner. Like, at least like that's still like reasonable, right? I feel like there should be nothing. Kyle apologized. He didn't apologize. What? He just said, I think he's going to drop out now. We just watched the whole video. I didn't even interrupt it. I think I paused it twice so I wouldn't interrupt it. Like, he didn't even apologize for it. And it's not about apologizing to me. It's just like apologizing to misleading people about like making Graham Plattner out to be someone who like, there's no way anything against him could be credible. Like, it's just like, I thought a chatter said that he did. No, he didn't. Maybe it's like a different video or something, but I looked at all the other ones and he hasn't talked about it. So yeah, like, is it so unreasonable to say that like the response should be closer to what Khanna said? I don't think that that's unreasonable. You guys can tell me if you think I'm being unreasonable. All I'm asking for is like something like what Khanna said, where he's just like, yeah, that was my bad. I was wrong. We should have been able to know this. We should have like done our homework. We shouldn't have allowed ourselves to ignore so many red flags. Obviously taking back my endorsement. Obviously I don't want him to win. I want him to drop out, but yeah, we'll try and be better, and we'll try not to like miss this stuff in the future. Like, I don't know. That's like, I don't think that's asking for too much. I really don't. That doesn't feel like that much. I don't know. I think Ryan and Kyle are not politicians, but they're also humans who are clearly conflicted about endorsing Graham and not dealing with it well. I know this isn't your intention, man, but like, you are infantilizing like adult men. You're infantilizing dudes that are like 40. They're just not dealing with it well. Like, everyone wants to pillory them for personal satisfaction. It's not about personal satisfaction. I don't know what, like, whoever you're talking about, I don't know who you're talking about. I'm just saying that it would be cool to see some accountability and some effort in the future to not make the same mistake. I don't think that that's unreasonable. If you think it's unreasonable to ask that a political commentator that convinces people of political positions be more responsible with what they convince people of, like, I think you're giving them way too much charitable. What? I think it's easy to say you would immediately throw a friend under the bus for horrible things they have done. I have. It's a whole the other thing to do it. I have. A very close friend of mine that I literally, for a year straight, would not stop thinking about how sad I was that I lost that friendship. I spoke to them and told them that their behavior was completely unacceptable. And I couldn't be friends with someone who engaged in that behavior unless they were willing to work on it and change. And then I ended that friendship. So yes, I have. What? Sometimes, yeah, you just have to do it if you want to be fair to both yourself and them. Yeah, I don't. Kyle was one of Plattner's biggest champions. He's always been Blue MAGA IMO. I don't think he's like necessarily Blue MAGA. And like, also, if anything, do you know how depressing it is that I can't watch Kyle? I love watching Kyle in the pre-show and I can't watch it. Do you know how badly I want to ignore it and be like, no, it's okay that Kyle did that. Like, we're just going to keep watching his videos because I like watching them. Do you know how much you do? I don't want to do this. And I'm choosing to do this despite that. No, I don't know Denim's personal choices. I'm saying it's another thing to demand that others meet your standard that's not realistic. It's not realistic to ask that political commentators disavow rapists? Huh? You know what's crazy? There were a lot of people that met that standard very easily. Hassan met that standard very easily. Emma met that standard very easily. Sam Cedar met that standard very easily. In what world should we not expect people to hold the same standards that we do about rapists? Like what? Whether Hassan never endorsed Graham Plattner? No, I know he didn't. But he was good about like saying, that Graham Plattner should drop out, that he's disappointed, that he should have been better about it. Like what? Ryan did. Oh my God, you've like lost the plot completely. You've lost the plot completely. I can't, dude. I can't. I want you to know you're making the exact same argument that Ethan Klein makes about not supporting Israel. That he says it's okay for him to say he wants to take his family to Israel to show them how multicultural it is and how diverse it is and how beautiful it is, because he said that genocide is bad. You can't do what Ryan Grimm did and then also at the same time say like, but just so you guys know, rape is bad. He did on Friday talking to Emma. It was terrible. What the fuck are you talking about, man? We watched it on stream. It was not good. It should be easy to cut out a literal rapist out of your friend group. I know when I was younger, I basically immediately stopped associating with friends who showed sketchiness around rape and sexual assault. Immediately don't associate with that person anymore. Probably report them if you have seen something. Yeah, like I don't see it the same way. Cheers. So you think that Ethan Klein is not at all pro-Israel? I'm asking you a genuine question. You're accusing me of saying things I'm not saying. I didn't even say that you said anything. What? I haven't accused you of saying anything. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't get the E-connect. You don't get to hide behind a couple instances of you saying and doing the right things that to avoid criticism about acting incorrectly. Right? It's kind of like if I like kept showing up at your place and like breaking cups all of the time, and sometimes it almost looks intentional. And then I'm like, I just want you to know, I don't like to, accidentally destroy furniture or products or goods. And I would never do anything that would be at like financial risk to you or damage to you. And I would never do anything like that. And then you literally watch me like a cat knock over a vase of yours. And I'm like, but just so you know, I am not for engaging in destruction of anyone's items. I understand, like that's fucked up to do that. And then I just do it again. It's like, I can't hide behind my statements when my actions speak louder than those statements. And that's like the same idea. It's like, you can't just say over and over again, by the way, rape is bad and we should believe rape victims. And then also cast all this doubt onto like Rasicot's story and say it's irresponsible the way that we're treating Plattner like some guy who broke in and raped her. And it's like, what? Like, and then people will say, but he said he's against rape. It's like, yeah, but you can't just say one thing and then also say the exact opposite, something that engages in rape culture, and then ignore that. Like, huh? Doesn't matter if he broke in or not unless you're a judge. Yeah. Was trying to muddy the waters. Yeah. Did you see the Jon Stewart interview a month ago where he says rape? Wait, what do you mean? But anyways, yeah. The point is people like Kyle and Ryan have yet to take accountability in their part for muddying those waters. Well, no. Ryan was like a totally different story. That was like a mess. That was a total shit show. But Kyle is just like sadness and disappointment. Ryan is like, I don't have any positive words to say. By the way, chat, remember when I told you guys, you know how I've always told you guys like 100 times that like leftism has this massive misogyny problem that everyone just ignores? And there's a lot of people that are down to like, it's like the only, I would say, I think it was like I would argue it's the most prominent problem or like blind eye of people on the left where like so much shit will just get ignored. And then when you call anyone on any of it, it's like, I just think you're being really harsh on him. It's just like, you're just being so harsh on him. It's like, what? What? Are you kidding me? You get called woke of the day? Yeah, it's so annoying. Be reasonable. This is why we can't win. You're dividing us. I feel like I've talked about this before, and like people are like, no, that's not true. People wouldn't do that. And it's like, I feel like we've kind of seen it playing out right now with everything Plattner related. Because it's like, you guys are still defending these people who are not acting correctly. You should not want anyone to speak the way that Ryan Grimm spoke about a rape victim. Like, that should be a massive red line for you. And people are defending it. And they're defending it wholeheartely. And it's like, oh my God. And when you criticize them for that, they're like, you're just being really harsh on Ryan Grimm right now. He was tricked. He's just a 40-year-old adult that was tricked. Okay? He was literally groomed into thinking that Plattner was a good guy. It's like, what? Ryan Grimm was ready to like fucking personally have Kat Abu Ghazali like crucified for saying what she did about Taiwan. He was ready to like completely destroy her campaign. There was no charitability by Ryan Grimm's part at all for Kat Abu Ghazali. At all. And then when it comes to a literal rapist, it's like, yeah, I just want to make sure everybody knows that that Graham Plattner didn't break into her home and rape her. It's like, what? Shouldn't you be taking this, like, shouldn't you be treating this at least like a fraction with like, at least, what? Oh my God. And then you find out like they were friends before and it's like, oh, okay. All right, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. But unfortunately, like, listen, guys, I'll just wait for like a male video essayist to make a video about how men have blind spots, and then I'll play it for the people who still don't understand. Because I'm never going to be the person that's going to explain it to these people. I'm too, not male presenting. I'll hit Noah Sampson up and be like, hey, can you make a video about how men should be better so I can play it on my stream, so I can show it to the men so they can be like, oh, I get it now. I get it. No, what he said was wrong. No, you're right. You're right. Thank goodness you put a man on the screen to say it. Thank God. Oh, I was so stressed. Thank you. Put on the fake mustache. Yeah, I just need to do the Dr. Jihad cosplay. It's so true. I want to bang my head at the wall for all these so-called leftists in chat at the moment in IRL. To be clear, I just want to say like 99% of chatters are all based, okay? So I apologize for being upset about like the less than 1% that have just been like holding like water for these people that like suck. I mean, this kind of happened. Do you guys remember when this happened a little bit with Andrew Callahan? Where I was like, guys, I like Andrew Callahan. I want to watch his videos. Do you think it makes me happy to not watch Andrew Callahan? No. But this is disappointing, and I can't watch a guy that's like getting accused by so many women of sexual assault. And there were still people being like, but like, I don't know, like, I feel like it just doesn't make any sense. It's like, check bio, Palestine flag in bio. It's like, what? Just because you like someone doesn't mean you excuse their behavior, dude. What the fuck? It means you're more understanding and give them an opportunity to correct their behavior if they've never given you a reason to believe that they would act that way. But it doesn't mean when they fuck up, you're just like, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I don't know. It's not a big deal. So crazy. So crazy. All right. Sorry to talk about Plattner again. All right. No more Plattner talks from now on. Maybe I'll even fucking like get rid of Plattner. Maybe Plattner will be like a timeout message or something because I'm just tired of talking about it. Because I'm not going to make these people, like, I'm not going to, anyone who still disagrees with me and is like, and they still don't think that there was anything wrong about how Ryan presented what he did, and people who still don't think that there's anything wrong with Kyle, not like, with what Kyle put out instead of what he should have put out. If you don't see my perspective at this point, you're probably never going to see my perspective, and you just don't want to be upset at your favorite internet bros or whatever. So like, I just don't, if I'm not going to convince you, I'm not going to convince you. Is it a little crazy how people can't see it? Yeah, I don't know.